Oh, blimey, we're live. So you're going to be in on the live, by the way. No. You'll have to move. No swearing. Everyone? Are we 0-0? What happened?
No. Just don't wake up.
You can keep it down as well. What is it? Got lips? Where? On my lumpy head? It's savage, isn't it?
You have to leave it longer. You have to.
I don't like to.
You have to though.
Don't worry.
And you got a couple.
Because I did 2.5 on top.
You got a couple long hairs here.
Is it?
Like, where you haven't gone through it.
The rest of the fade alright though.
Yeah, it's great. That's right.
Come on then. What are we doing?
I'll say you're ruining the audio, mate.
Yeah, can you keep it down over there, please? Wait, actually, are you saying anything off the top?
Man, I don't know whether to go shorter or longer. I was looking to gain.
Or longer?
Yeah, I was looking to like, it. I was looking to gain your professional opinion on what would suit my face shape.
Oh, lovely.
Obviously, I've seen your stuff online and stuff.
I'm afraid there's not a lot we can do about it.
Well, I saw your stuff online. I see you're a bit of an up-and-coming guy. You seem to know your stuff, so
nice.
I felt like a real consultation would be needed.
Yeah, so 0-0, same as everyone has.
Perfect.
That's all you're allowed. And at the top, I don't think we can save you, unfortunately. What actually are you going to do? The graph or not? What did we do last time? We gave it a bit of a...
Last time you skinned it, but I just hate how it grows out.
We 0-0 it on the side, didn't we?
Didn't you foil it?
Nah, no foils, no. We 0-0.
Just do it now and then. I'll just.
0-0.
I think I want to go back to tape as long as going.
Ooh, dear.
But
What, 2 in tables?
don't know.
Okay, fella.
I don't really care right now.
This one look pretty.
For this one, just do your thing. And then I've got obviously we've got Ben's B-Day thing coming up.
Yeah, true.
My birthday. And then we've got Salon, isn't it, next week after that?
Oh, is that the week after?
Yeah.
Oh, Dart messaged me actually.
Saying
about judging.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They want me on a panel of judges apparently. But
With me?
are you doing it?
Yeah.
Really? You actually do it?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to drive, because I am going to stay for that.
Ah, I'm with you now.
I'm not going to just...
I thought he was going up and just cutting. I didn't know.
I'll do my haircut, and then I'll judge it, and then I'll probably dip after that. Once they've announced or whatever. As soon as they've announced who's the winners, I'll go.
I'm not sure if I'll do the judging thing. I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Ben Pearson's going to model for me, I think.
Oh, is he? Not, oh no, he can do it.
I know he was growing his hair out, but I said I can just do a scissor cut of tapers or something.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter too much, does it?
Nah. Nah, it's more about just cutting the stand.
The thing is, it'd be more ideal if it was just one of us boys, but we've all got rubbish hair.
Yeah, true. You can do my dodgy barnet.
What face shape would you say I have then?
Dodgy one. Really dodgy one.
Come on, for the people.
You've got a rectangle head.
Blockhead.
you got a blockhead.
What's that cheap Lego called?
Dunno.
What's this, the knockoff Lego?
Whatever of you TV.
I'll need to find it now.
Dunno. What is that? It's going to be quite difficult without my camera set up to get the angles properly.
I can't find it.
So with this haircut, we're going to start with our block graduation.
On a blockhead.
On a blockhead, which we're going to try and save. Going to pull the hair out at 90 degrees and take away the weight. There's not actually a lot to come off on Jordan's hair because we only cut it about, what, 2 weeks ago, do you reckon?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Normally we leave it about 12 months till we cut Jordan's hair because we have no time for him. As you approach the back of the head, we're going to change our angle of the crown to about 45 degrees to allow some weight to build up, just so that we don't go too short on the crown, which may leave it to stick up. Going to follow the same process on the left hand side, which will complete our block graduation. Very sorry about Otto in the background. We're featuring babies today. I was going to get my laptop set up before coming today. I was going to do it on OBS Studios and get both my cameras so I'll get like better angles. Because it's quite difficult to see, to be honest, on this.
What's OBS Studios?
It's like a streaming platform.
Not like Twitch.
It's like an interface, yeah, where you can link your cameras up and then that links to all the lives.
Well, so you could have different shots on the same one?
Yeah.
Alright.
Once you've completed your block graduation, you're going to go with a centre line from crown to the front of the head. Split it 2 ways, so you've got 2 cutting zones. And that is Jordan's finished look. Sexy boy. Going to pull the hair out at the same elevation as we did with our block graduation. Going to find our cutting line underneath and match it. This is the external length, so anything that you get while pulling the hair out of the head. If you want a longer fringe, you're going to angle a lot further out than you would if you wanted a crop. For example, with Jordan's hair, we're going to pull it out slightly, just so that we retain a little bit of length around the front area. Repeat the same on the other side. I want to get Jake Mitchin for a live as well. He's not been in for months, mate. He's going to silk cut taters.
Is he?
Yeah. Which would look sick on his bonnet. So that's the block graduation and the external shape complete. We're now going to move on to the front panel, the front section. And we're just going to trim the front just by a little bit because, as I said, we cut it 2 weeks ago, so it doesn't need too much length off. The reason we're starting at the front before we move on to our profile section is so that we can cut the fringe with a blunt cutting technique so that we can get the correct length. And then when we pull the hair up into a profile, we're going to use the front as our shortest point and work back from that. Naturally what that will do is graduate the hair so that the fringe becomes feathered.
So what's that feathered you said? Oh, sorry. What's feathered?
We're going to take our profile section now. So both lines going from the crown to the bridge of the nose. And we're going from our shortest point, which is the fringe, and working our layer back. On Jordan's hair, we're going to go square, which means we're going to retain the length of the fringe and the crown, and the shortest point will be the apex, the top of the head. We're using a point cutting technique on the top, just because Jordan's hair is super straight, so we want to get as much texture as we can in before actually putting the texture in at the end of the haircut. Follow your guide back to the crown. And elevate your crown to match the front of the head so it keeps a square cutting line. Square cutting line should look like this. You're going to follow the comb. You're not going to go round on the head. It's not going to bend. To follow the natural head shape, you're going to keep a straight line. Make sure to keep the hair wet and saturated throughout the haircut. And next to your profile section, you're going to take your next cutting line. You're then going to halve your original section. And place that into the uncut section on the left-hand side. Finding our previous guide from the profile section before, we're going to match that into the guide at the front, and using point cutting we're going to take the hair away. With each vertical cutting section, we're going to be over-directing the last section into the previous, which means that as we get to the edge of our shape, we've gained a little bit of weight just on the corners, which we can then use later to style. For your last section on the side of the head, scoop up all of the hair into the last panel and cut your guide. Repeat the same process for the other side. Now that our guide is cut into the hair, it doesn't actually matter where we start cutting. You'll be able to find your guide at the front, the back, or the middle. Moving on to the crown, you're going to wet the hair again. Look at her just chilling.
Man, look at Otto, he's loving it. Man.
Are you learning as well? Good boy.
Yeah, he's looking his eyes off you.
You're going to lift the hair up at the back. Match your cutting guide at the front of the head. And then you're going to pull your section all the way out at the back of the head, sorry. Find the shortest point at the bottom and cut to match. We're not creating a rounded shape on the crown as we're trying to retain all that length at the back there so the crown doesn't stick up at the end. The round shape would look something like this. And you'd lose all of that weight on the top there, which is what you don't want to do. That's our cut complete for the top. We're going to move on to a little bit of channel cutting now, which is Jordan's favourite, because he's not painful at all.
Just haven't found a barber that can do it properly.
So I'm going to use my bluntest scissors possible on him, so we maximise the pain. Place your cutting blade on top of the head and slowly cut through diagonally, slicing through the hair. What this will do is break up the hair and create a little bit of movement. We're then following up with a acacia blade, just for a bit of surface texture. Do you use that salt spray when you're cutting? Or do you do it after?
What do I do after? You put it in there now?
Yeah. It's well nice to cut with. It's like a cutting conditioner, almost. You know when you get that dry hair that you're trying to saturate and it doesn't really get going?
Yeah.
If you wet it a bit and then use that salt spray, you can wet it down so much easier.
Is it?
Yeah, it's well nice. Since I'm having that foam tonic, that's what I've been using.
Yeah, fair.
We're now going to dry this off into our rough style and move on to the sides. We're going to start the blow dry at the back of the head, at the crown. As possible. By blow drying into the centre of the crown, you're allowing the hair to dry in its most natural position, which is the spiral. If you go against the growth of the hair's going to stick up unnaturally. going to take our round brush and our concentration nozzle and channel dry the hair just slightly to create a bit of movement. Low speed, low temperature setting. Your hair just uses it. Yeah, alright. You can use it before you're done.
I do, but I don't ever spend much time on it.
So that's the blow dry complete. We're moving on to the sides. I'm going to start Jordan's hair with a grade 2. If you place your comb at the side of the head and lay it flat, you can see where Jordan's head starts to naturally curve. We're going to take our grade 2 right to the top, just before it naturally curves at the top. As we approach the crown, we're going to dip it slightly, angling our grade towards the occipital bone, so that we retain that weight that we built up earlier. Going to repeat the same on the other side. Making sure that your grade 2 goes right to that parietal ridge, or just under. Place the comb at the side of the head, find where the head starts to naturally curve, and that's where your grade 2 is going to lie, just there. You're going to find the occipital bone at the back of the head. Place your comb in to find it. Where the comb stops at that bone, that's where your grade 2 is going to finish. So just here. You'll then match both guides in with the middle. So to blend this into the top of the head, to the scissor cut, we've got two choices. We can go clipper over comb to remove the bulk. So your comb goes in, scoop the hair out, keep the comb square to the side of the head so you're not angling in, as you want to keep the squareness, and remove the bulk. Making sure your clippers are at 0. If you're not as confident with this technique, you can move your clipper to 0.5, which is a little bit softer and won't take quite as much hair off. It'll just take a little bit longer. Alternatively, you can run through the grades. So I'm going to attach a grade 4. I'm going to open my fade lever, so it's a 4.5. And I'm going to work the 4.5 right into the top of the head, right at the top of the parietal ridge. Remembering not to move into the curvature of the head. Follow that grade 4 right the way around. And same for the crown area. Just making sure that you retain a little bit of weight around that crown. Close your fade lever and go just under your 4.5. Make sure you're always going against the grain. Change the direction that you're cutting with the direction of the hair. Now taking our grade 3 and repeating the same process but just under the number 4. So we're going 3.5. Closing our lever to number 3, working just underneath. And follow it around the head. Grade 3. And finally, we're going back with our grade 2, but on a 2.5. Just to remove that last line from the number 2. As you can see, the silhouette that we've got here is nice and straight, nice and square. To find any lines, you can turn your client to the mirror, and if there's any bumps or lumps on the side of the head, that's basically a line. You need to go back and repair it. So if you're repairing lines, I always recommend to start with your highest grade and work your way down. The best thing to do is listen out for the clippers cutting, because sometimes visually you can't actually see it. What do you fancy, 0.5 or 00, right? Whatever. So we're going to go for 00. We're going to take our trimmer and placing our zero guide. I normally start at about, depending on what type of fade you want, you can go mid fade, which is around about 2 fingers, or a low fade, which is 1. Personally, with Jordan's hair, I think it looks best with a 1 finger low fade. So place your guide in at the temple, work your way around the ear, just pivot around it, creating a bit of an arch. Find where the occipital bone is, go 2 fingers underneath, place your guide. So that's a flat horizontal guide at the back. You're then going to bring your previous trimmer line into your occipital guide. Which completes your trimmer guide. Complete that same process for the other side of the bulk. Make sure that you're pressing lightly with your trimmers. Otherwise you create quite a hard line, which is much more difficult to get out. Check your lines for symmetry. Not that it matters too much, because you'll go back and fade it anyway. And remove the bulk. I always create another guide with my trimmer in the crease of the ear so that you don't go too low on the beard fade. Because Jordan's got an absolute monstrous beard. And we don't want to be taking that off, do we, boy?
Low fade on the beard.
Oh no, we're doing low fade with it actually. Make sure you clean up your workspace with a fade brush. You can do similar with a comb, but it doesn't quite get the area as clean. What you can choose to do now is you can go in with your foils. If you want to go for a skin fade, just smoothing the edges right out. In this case, we're keeping it at 00. So just a slight bit of stubble left on the head. Take your 0.5 guard, attach that, close your fade lever, and work just above your 00 line, leaving this line fairly dark, because we'll come back and do that last. So work just above your 0.5, follow the line, making sure that you leave the underneath. So we're now completing the fade above the 00 line from a 0.5 upwards. Create the same guide the whole way around the head. This line doesn't have to be super clean, it's just a reference point. Once you've completed that guide, you're going to take your grade 1. I use this wild metal grade 1. I feel like it just takes off more hair. It's much better than the plastic one. The plastic one's good, but it doesn't quite get in there as much as the metal one. Open your fade lever so it's a 1.5. And you're going to work from your 0.5 line into the top of the blend now. So we're going to scoop out all the way into the grade 2. Be quite generous when you're flicking this out into the grade 2. You can go quite far into your fade, because a lot of this is going to become at least a 1.5. Where a lot of people go wrong is that they leave their 1.5 so low on the head that it creates dark lines when you're trying to fade up to it. The idea of a smooth fade is to move it as far out as possible, creating a softer blend. Who? Oh. Hello, mate. You're by the way. Can you grab the hand, please? Hey. How you doing, Ro? Matty boy. Right. Hello, geese. Right. How's pregnant life treating you? How's pregnant life treating you, Matt? Alright.
What do you do?
That's that. Thank you. Once you've completed your 1.5, you're going to go 2 clicks forwards and work just underneath. Oh yeah, bless him. What are you guys up to?
We just chopped our towels off the plate.
Oh yeah, that's posh.
I saw Buddy was here.
That's so posh.
Come and see Buddy.
What about us? What about me?
Yeah.
You come to see me, deep down, you know it.
Nah, alright,
Any dark spots on the fade, you're going to use your corners just to get into. To keep that fade nice and consistent.
Right, see you later.
See you later, brother.
See you later,
Take care, man. Have a wonderful day.
You too, mate.
See you later, guys. So we're going back to our 0.5. Opening our fade lever. And working just underneath what we've just done, which was the 1.5 closed by 2 clicks. Same again, we're going to close our 0.5 by 2 clicks. work just underneath our previous line. Finally, we're going to close our guard and work just underneath again. So now we're left with our trimmer line, our 0.5, and what's in the middle. So that would be our 0.5 to our 0. So now we're going to work between all of these clipper grades, clipper clicks even. So I'm going to close my clipper to 0, click it once back, and I'm going to flick into this line here, making sure that I don't go too high. I'm going to scoop out, and as I approach that line, I'm going to flick that line away. Work at this line quite quickly. Try to utilise the corner of your blade just here, so that you can be quite precise when you're fading. Follow this the whole way down to the back of the head. Use your fade brush to remove the debris. Then flick your guard all the way open. Work above. Now we're going to 2 clicks open. And finally we're going to our 0, all the way closed. So the rest of the fade now is done by eye. You've run through all the clipper grades, and now it's time to just refine any areas that you feel aren't quite smooth enough. I'm now going back and forth through my fade lever, lever, just to make sure that I'm getting rid of any dock spots that I don't like. The good trick is to apply a bit of talc to your neck brush. And place that on the fade to remove any debris. Which gives you a nice clear space to work in. Is he asleep over there? So we're now going to move on to the other side. Taking off grade 1, opening our fade lever, flicking that guard into the grade 2. Remember to be quite generous, as most of this is going to be a 1.5. When you're working with your clipper, it's quite important to be quite light-handed and don't dig the teeth into the client's head. You want to work with the flat part of the blade, which is just here. Digging it in too far will make the hair too short in some spaces. You're working with the flatness of the head, so it's coming up and off. If there's any stubborn areas that you can't fade correctly, then you can apply a bit more pressure and that should remove the dark spots. We're now going to close it by 2 clicks and work just underneath the 1.5. Remember to utilise the corners of the clipper to get further in. Moving back to the 1.5, just to smoothen out that transition a little bit. I just hit my head on the ring light and I fully just flinched. Look, I just got smacked in the head. Don't know. You know when a client taps you in the chair and you do that jolt? I did that. So, moving to our 0.5. Attach your 0.5. Open your fade lever all the way. And work just under the 2 clicks of that grade 1. Close your guard by 2 clicks and work just underneath your guide, the same as before. I've opened the lever again just to smoothen out the transition. And we're now back to that last line. So you've got the 00 and the 0.5. This dark line here is going to be all of these clicks on the fade lever. So we're going to start by going 1 click back and just flicking out that line. Remembering the corners of our clipper. And now opening my fade lever all the way. Working slightly higher into our 0.5 transition. Now I'm going to close it by 2 clicks and work from our 0 into our previous. Finally, I'm going to close it all the way and work from our 00 into that last 0 line. Again, the last part is done by eye. So now that we've gone through our clipper grades, we're going to refine any minor details by going through the fade clips or guards, depending on what needs to be done. In this case, I've got an open lever and I'm hitting all them dark spots for a cleaner fade. Close it by 2 clicks now back to 0.5. Placing my 0.5 guard back on with an open lever and smoothing out the fade into the 1.5, removing any dark spots that I find, making sure to use my corners. If the dark spots don't go, then go just a little bit shorter. We're 2 clicks forwards now. At the end, get a bit of talc on your neck brush. And remove all the debris. At this point, all we've got left to do now is refine the whole of the haircut. We're going to go over any spots that we've missed, check our blend, make sure it's symmetrical. With Jordan's hair, where it grows outwards, you'll find that because we keep a bit of a squarer shape, weight around the corners, you can find that the hair goes quite fluffy and can grow up quite badly. So we're going to soften the blend on Jordan's hair with thinners and the clipper braid. So we're going to grab our thinning shears and work just on this blend line here, just to soften it slightly. So again, scissor out the comb, scoop in, work on the bottom of your comb, keep your cutting blade static and just move your thumb. You can follow this into the curvature of the head. Work the same technique around the whole of the head. You can use your thinning shears on the sides as well, so that you soften your fade. Any dark areas that you can see, go with the thinner part of your comb, dig right in, and thin it out with the shears. You can even use a point cutting technique with the thinners, and point cut into the fade, which will remove the bulk and any dark blemishes. As I say, this whole technique is done by eye. I'm now attaching my grade 1 with a closed lever. of the static hairs that are sticking out on the blend, which actually there's not too much now. So working in a downwards motion, working super lightly because you don't want to remove too much weight. And just step back and check the silhouette of the haircut. You can check in the mirror as well. So we're working in this area here. Finally, I'm going back in with clipper over comb, just to refine the blend. I'm going to work my clipper over comb with an open guard, as I don't actually want to remove too much hair, I just want to soften. Is that chow?
Hmm?
Is that chow thing? Nah. Is it?
Didn't see anyone.
That geezer there. Right. For our last bit of texture, we can use a point cutting technique and break up any of the bulk that you find on the top of the hair, just to give it some extra movement. So starting at the back, holding the hair as close to the root as possible. Use a vertical chipping in technique. moving on to the end of the haircut then. We're going to refine any minor details, blend in the beard, clean up our client, blend in our massive beard that we've got here. It'll just take quite a lot of work. We'll have to do that in another video though. We haven't got time today. Shut up, you! This is our second client of the day, Mr. Budsworthy. Say hello, mate. Hello, YouTube. So this is quite a dry style, so we're going to be using some Johnny's Chop Shop texture spray to give the hair some body and some dryness. We're then going to apply a little bit of Ruger to the top to fix it in place. Is that right?
These capes.
The uppercut ones? Yeah, they're sick, aren't they? The only problem with them capes is that the buttons are like either too tight or too loose. You know what I mean? Taking our Johnny's Chop Shop and we're going to move the hair out of the way and spray it right into the root. Making sure that you spray a little bit further away, otherwise you're going to make the hair super white. Taking our Ruger, essential, using a pea-sized amount. Rub it through your palms, warm it up till it's almost invisible, and scrunch it in. This gives the hair a little bit of volume and scruffy texture, which you can then place a bit more neatly afterwards. Going to fix this in place with a little bit of hairspray, which completes finished look. I'll post up some pictures on my Instagram page for the finished look, but I will show you now just quickly. You know what I've just noticed?
What?
Your old man white hair on your nose.
It's horrible, isn't it? Gracie loves it, man.
It's white as well. It's so sick.
It's not.
Alright, let me show you the finished look. Oh, let me turn it around there. Oh no, that way. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.